Hey guys, welcome back to the Game of the Year week discussion. I'm joined with Robert and with Eric, and we are going to talk about the biggest disappointments this year in terms of games and or just news in general. So I'll start with you, Robert. What was your moment where you thought, oh God, this shouldn't happen?
Once again, it's Batman related. You know, Batman Arkham Knight. Everybody was excited and driving the Batmobile. It's very, very awesome. And then the game comes out. PS4 version, very cool. Xbox One version, very cool. PC version, not so much. It's buggy as hell. Nobody can play it. Everybody gets angry. And Warner Bros. Says, guys, you know what? We're taking the game back. We're going to work on it. We're going to improve on it. And then, in the end, you will get to play it. So, sure. Great job by Warner Bros. So they take the game back, they re-release it 3 months later, still a piece of shit. And then I'm really like, really? Is that the status of ports nowadays? That they just do whatever and hope people don't complain and hope people don't notice it's a pile of shit?
Yeah, I think this is like it's some of these. It's been this big discussion lately about like this topic where game developers are so rushed to release their games just like that. Like people had the discussion also about Unity. You remember how that was when it was released? It was buggy. Nobody could play properly. Online didn't work at all for all consoles, not just one. But it's been a big discussion that since game developers really just want to push their games out as quick as possible, they let you buy something that is not great, and then they promise to fix it up in the patches, but they don't really always live up to the promise. And I was lucky enough not to go through this because I didn't really play Arkham Knight. I'm not really a big fan of the Batman series. I don't really play that many games.
What?
So
What? Seriously, dude?
Yeah. Shoot me.
The Rocksteady games are freaking awesome.
Shoot me.
You should have played.
But in any case, So I didn't really live through most of this. So Unity was a disappointment for me because also the same thing happened. But how long was it that they promised to fix it and they didn't?
Like in June the game was released. Then let's say a month later they took it back. They re-released it in I think it was early October.
Yeah,
sure.
Wow.
So 3 months.
3 months and it's still buggy as hell.
Yeah, it still didn't work.
It's just a slap in the face for the gamer. I mean, this is not okay.
Yeah.
You had the same with Tony Hawk 5, which I will be talking about soon. But
you can just talk about it because it's the same problems, right?
Exactly. One of the biggest disappointments for me is Tony Hawk 5. I mean, it's an awful game. I mean, the series Tony Hawk 1, 2, 3, and 4. These were game. Yeah. These would die hard. I would play these rather than the newest one because it just sucks. I mean, look at it.
It's like you go through
look
walls.
I don't see any
everything.
blood.
Yeah, and also I remember.
What is this?
It's awesome. It's awesome for YouTube. This is YouTube hits. This is millions of views on YouTube.
Well, at least with this, the developers know their ragdoll engine actually works because just like bouncing all over the place.
But the thing is, they developed this game by a little team, and it was like milking the franchise a little bit because they're losing the license, I guess, next year. So that's just a big middle finger to the gamer. I mean, we like the older games, but this is shit, and they're just
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because now I have something that relates to that because my biggest disappointment was also part of a very successful franchise, and people had a lot of hope for it. My biggest disappointment of the year was Battlefield Hardline. I played Battlefield a lot with online with friends. The one I really like was Battlefield 2, Bad Company. I think that's like many of the people's favorite Battlefield game. And so when Battlefield Hardline was announced, I thought to myself, well, it's a different idea. Instead of like soldiers and like big open war zone, they're more focused on like a police story with like the personal stories, adding some emotional elements into it. And I thought, well, being a fan of the Battlefield series, I'm happy they're trying to do something new. But when I actually played the game, it really didn't give me any of the feeling that Battlefield gave me. Also online, because Battlefield is all about the big open space with vehicles, with rocket launchers, with all these great like distance sniping and everything, and big combat. But I just didn't get any of that feeling back in Hardline, especially when you look at it like it's a completely different story, and it's about police and not combat. So for me, that was definitely a big letdown.
So in the end, I mean, at first you were like, okay, the story, it's cool to try something new, but now you're like, okay, guys, just keep it with the old. That's better.
Keep it with the old, and just do what you do best, because that's eventually that's what Battlefield gamers live for. They live for that big multiplayer with the big open combat and everything. So yeah, they should just go back to what they do.
Maybe it's an EA thing. I mean, this year wasn't like really good for EA. Because I recognize your story when talking about Need for Speed. I mean, that was a disappointment a little bit. And also FIFA 16. I mean, the series was great the last years, but FIFA 16 was crap this year, and PES was pretty good.
Why do you think it was bad compared to the last years?
Oh, there were so many broken things, and it was just hard to play. You can't say that because you're a good gamer, but it was just it was easy to defend, hard to attack. Lots of things that I didn't like and just didn't go that well.
I think it's like because for me, why I've always liked PES in the previous ones in the past was because that PES was more arcadey and it was like more fun to play, and especially because now FIFA's going really towards the realism side. I think it's at one point it becomes a bit too realistic for me, because when I play a football game, I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun with my friends, and it doesn't matter if you win with 10-0 or something. As long as you have fun, it's fine. But it gets a bit to the point where I think realism might be a little bit too far reached.
This year, PES won the game. I mean, they're back in the game. And
in the end, it's all down to sales numbers.
Of course. But the real hardcore fans know what they want to play, and you see it. I mean, everybody bought FIFA 16 and thought after a couple of days or weeks, this is not the game we were expecting, and they're playing PES instead. So
So
it's a shame. EA.
It's a shame indeed, and so let us know in the comments what your biggest disappointments were this year. Was it EA as well, or did you just think like Eric that 2015 overall wasn't a great year for gaming? So stay tuned for more videos from us. This was the biggest disappointments of the year.